has Mayor Lurie stated anything about ICE and our sanctuary cities, uh, sanctuary city policies? What can we do about this to move them in the right direction?
Lurie, in terms of Lurie's orientation around this, and this is just a style thing. I don't know that he'd disagree with it. I mean, he's just been largely silent. He will point to a speech or two where he says, you know, the sort of basic, this is a sanctuary city, you defend our immigrants. But it's different from what we see from other city mayors, right? You know, and most recently been really impressed by how Brandon Johnson in Chicago has reacted when Trump is like, yeah, maybe I'm gonna go, you know, send troops into Chicago. Like, he doesn't just hide under a rock, right? He's out there with the governor at a press conference talking about, like, condemning this administration for doing that, talking about the reality of what's happening in Chicago and telling the president not to come. And, you know, it's really different than what we see when, you know, Trump floated San Francisco, right, in recent weeks, like as one of these targeted cities where he's going to maybe send in the National Guard. And Lurie didn't say a word. You know, it's just very strange. I think that, look, I mean, my worldview is very much shaped by many things, but some of it is by, you know, my family background. I'm the son of a Holocaust survivor, you know, who my family fled Nazi Germany, right? And so the experience of like Germany in the 30s and Europe, and it is very, has had an impact in how I view the world. I don't think appeasing dictators and fascists or thinking that if you're just quiet, they'll go away, I just don't think that has ever worked in history, right? And that's what I see here. It just doesn't work. And I should say, like, I continued doing that work. I mean, long before I was a tenant rights attorney, in law school, I worked at the International Criminal Tribunal for the former Yugoslavia. We were investigating war crimes and genocide in former Yugoslavia and Rwanda. And again, it's the same thing. This stuff doesn't just happen in a vacuum. History does repeat itself, but you don't have to repeat the mistakes of the past when it comes to how best to confront these threats. So I fundamentally disagree with Lurie's approach. I think it is not a coincidence. It's not like he just forgot to speak out or whatever. This is clearly a strategy, one being cheered, frankly, by the people who never face the repression that we're asking him to condemn, right? So opinion writers, columnists, others from their suburban gated communities write these pieces in our billionaire-funded papers about how, what a great strategic move Dan Lurie is making by being silent on these issues, and I think they're absolutely wrong. I think the mayor needs to speak out. I also think this is one of these things where I don't enjoy this sparring with the mayor. Like, this is an issue where I would hope even people I really disagree with, that we could all be standing together and saying no to what Trump is doing, saying no to the attacks on immigrants, condemning ICE, and it's just really deeply disappointing to see our mayor just stick his head in the sand on this. And then, as I said in the speech earlier, it's in some ways it's worse than just ignoring it. There's active stuff happening. Like when the SFPD, which the mayor can direct them, right? When the SFPD is at a protest and ICE agents get in their car and ram intentionally, clearly intentional, into a protester, in what, like, you have every justification as San Francisco police in that moment to apprehend those guys, right? Who gets away with that? Literal, a peaceful protester, you're ramming a car into them? And so there have been these moments, and it's not just that SFPD doesn't do that. When they're questioned about it, in the interview with a deputy chief in Mission Local, they talk about how their duty is to be out there protecting the ICE agents from protesters, right? And again, the mayor completely silent. Like, how hard is it just the next day to say, I am deeply disturbed by this footage in which our peaceful protesters here in San Francisco are being violently assaulted by ICE agents? Like, to me, that's leadership is just actually speaking out, even if you can't solve everything, at least being a clear moral voice. And so far we're missing that, but my hope is he gets there eventually. For any of you who have the ability, I mean, everyone can write him or whatever, but to really push him on that, because I think I haven't given up hope that he's gonna something's gonna be at the bridge too far and that he will speak out, but so far he hasn't.